Okay, let's just click that on. Okay, the final presentation for the day, our sponsors, Beneple. We have Rebecca Smith, who is the co-founder of Safe Hands, one of the UAE's leading providers of corporate wellness initiatives, first aid and emergency response training programs. Since its creation in 2012, Safe Hands has evolved to become an award-winning health and wellness pioneer in the region. As the managing partner of Safe Hands, Rebecca oversees the day-to-day running of Safe Hands and overall strategy. Safe Hands corporate wellness is offering is based on 4 pillars of health, including general health, mental health, physical activity, and diet or diet nutrition. And clients include both small and large businesses such as Michelin, Novo Nordisk, HP, and even Vantage at that. So Rebecca's career began as a paediatric nurse in the UK when she delivered primary care to infants and children and learns at first hand the importance of first aid. She has a passion for all things wellness and has expanded her career into wellness and is currently completing a level 6 diploma in health and coaching and integrated nutrition. It's a bit of a mouthful, Rebecca. Without further ado, I'll pass over to Rebecca for the final presentation.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, just want to check, can everyone hear me? Everyone can hear me at the back. I'm all set up and I'm technically sound. Perfect. Okay, so firstly, afternoon everyone. I hope you're all well. Just before I get started and get into the content of today's presentation, I just want to say that I am aware that I am the last presenter today, and I am aware that we've probably all got one thing on our mind at this stage, which is the drinks reception that is following this presentation. So I do want to let you know that I am going to try and keep this as brief, but hopefully still as informative as possible for you. Okay, and collectively, if you give me 20 to 25 minutes of your time, we can all go to the bar and take care of our mental and emotional well-being there afterwards, okay? So without further ado, let's get into the presentation today and look at the discussion points. So I'm going to cover who Safe Hands are and who Beneple are as an entity, although after that brilliant introduction, I'm not sure there's a need for that now, but we'll touch on the 2 companies that are bringing you the presentation today. We're also going to be looking at what well-being is and the meaning of wellness to different people across the board. We'll be looking at the COVID-19 impacts on health and wellness. We'll be looking at health specifically in the UAE, okay, locally and regionally as well. We're going to look at the benefits of a wellness program and implementing one within your business, designing a successful program and what that looks like. And I'm also going to be touching on my own wellness journey as well at the end. So firstly, who are Safe Hands and Beneple, okay? I put in this slide because I wanted to try and instill a little bit of confidence in you guys when it came to my expertise and my company credentials on this particular topic. Thinking about it, when I look at that picture, I'm not sure if it does that, but if the image doesn't, hopefully my words will, okay? Like you say, I'm the MD of Safe Hands. I started my journey in health and wellness as a paediatric nurse in the UK. And the business has been around in the region for just over 9 years now. I believe we just had a birthday, okay? And we deal with anything sort of health and safety related. We started off as a first aid and emergency response training provider. And over the last 4 years or so, we transitioned into being a provider of corporate and community wellness solutions as well. That was based on one of our USPs, which was that we were only going to hire qualified nurses as instructors when we set up the business. And that USP has served us really, really well over the years when it came to building an amazing client base. We said we had Vantage in the audience. I have to throw that out there. Amazing client base of corporates, schools and nurseries, individuals, home helper nannies. Okay, and it served us even better when it came to our transition into this sector. Who are Beneple then, and how do they tie in? Okay. Beneple are actually one of the other companies under our holding group umbrella, which is Blue Sky Thinking Group. They're our sister company. I'm sure some of you will have met Sonny Ridgewell, sat over there, giving you all a wave, okay? He actually heads up that team of advisors at Beneple, and they deal with anything and everything benefits or insurance related. Beneple in itself stands for 2 different things, benefits and people. And there are lots of different synergies between our 2 companies. Over the years, we've come to work really, really closely together to provide solutions for our clients that are designed to ultimately raise the health status of employees, but at the same time, keep claims and premiums down. We'll be expanding on that a little bit later on in the presentation and throughout. So what is health and well-being? Okay, I wanted to put in this quote and look at the definition of health and well-being, because the reality is that it can mean different things to different people. A common misconception is that wellness or well-being means that you're just physically well, okay? So you're without disease or you're without illness or pain. But actually, there's a lot more to it than that, okay? This quote here sort of sums it up. It's a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. The hard part for us, I suppose, when it comes to corporate wellness is trying to encompass all of that when it comes to developing a wellness strategy for our clients. It's hard, but it's not impossible, and we'll find out how we do that throughout the presentation. Why is it more important than ever? Health and wellness is always important in my opinion, but I do get that I am quite biased, okay, being a nurse and working in this space. But I think the current situation with the pandemic has definitely highlighted the need for this further, okay? It was an increasingly popular topic prior to COVID. Wellness and employee wellness in particular had become a bit of a buzzword, okay, a bit of a buzz topic. But I think the pandemic has intensified this, okay? We're hearing more and more about it. We've noticed the impact of COVID on employee well-being, particularly when it comes to mental and emotional health. We're seeing more stress, burnout, sleeping problems, amongst other things in companies. And I think, like I say, now it's more important than ever that we look at this within businesses. So let's have a look at health in the UAE then, okay, specifically. In the UAE, we've got a few sort of statistics that differentiate us from the rest of the world. The first is that obesity levels here are quite high when we look at the rest of the globe, okay? There's a stat there that says in the UAE, obesity levels are as high as 37% of the population, which is over double the world average, okay? Over double, that's crazy. I think there are a few different reasons for that, okay? I think convenience is a huge factor. If I look at my lifestyle here and I talk to my friends and family back home, they cannot believe that I no longer have to walk to my car, get in my car and drive to the gas station or petrol station to fill up my car, okay? I can do it all on an app. Every food that you can think of can be ordered via app, InstaShop, you name it. Everything can be done online, okay? We don't have to move as much, and that's definitely a contributing factor, I feel. Other major health problems in the UAE include diabetes, okay? Just to give you a stat there, the rate of diabetes or the incidence of diabetes out here is currently at 16%, so 16% of the population. Don't know if that sounds very high to you, but just to put that in perspective, the UK incidence of diabetes is currently at 6%, okay? So again, much higher when we look at the rest of the world. And obesity is in fact a major risk factor for developing diabetes. We then look at cardiovascular disease, okay, which is one of the main reasons for fatalities out here and worldwide. And the UAE has an incidence of CVD, cardiovascular disease, and heart attacks at least 10 years earlier than the rest of the world. The world average is about 60 to 65 years old. Out here, it's 50 to 55. It's quite a scary stat, okay? 10 years earlier than the rest of the world. And if you look at those stats there, you can see how lifestyle leads into initial health problems, which leads to more advanced health problems and ultimately fatalities, not to be too morbid, okay? So that leads me into prevention is way better than the cure, okay? If that didn't convince you, I've got another stat here that says preventable illness makes up 70% of the burden of illness and associated costs, okay? Introducing preventative measures, which corporate wellness is all about, and focusing employee benefit plans on preventative healthcare is addressing health problems before they get to that more advanced stage. So let's have a look at some of the other benefits of corporate wellness then. Cost savings. This is a major one when we look at the bottom line for a business. One of the main benefits for companies offering wellness programs is savings on medical claims. And this is one of the reasons that we partner with Beneple so closely. If wellness is done right, you can see some real benefits and meaningful impacts on your medical insurance premiums and claims. Notice how I said if it's done right there. It is very important that wellness is done right in the workplace for it to have a tangible effect on the bottom line, okay? A lot of providers, a lot of our competitors even, they plan wellness very generically, all right? Some of the insurance providers that we work very closely with set out their calendar in December for the year after, okay? They've planned the whole 12 months in advance. January might be thyroid month, February might be nutrition month, okay? Which is great, but how much of an impact is that actually having on the health of your employees, and what is the engagement on those topics going to be like? What they often do is partner with a hospital or clinic in order to deliver these education sessions or programs as well. And that hospital or clinic will usually agree to do that workshop or education session for free, on the basis that they can market themselves to that company and those employees. You have to bear in mind that if that's the case, and that hospital or clinic come in to do that presentation or screening, what is the end result for them? Well, the end result is usually come to our clinic for a checkup, okay? There's an anomaly, your blood pressure's high. We need to check that out. As a nurse, I know that if someone's blood pressure's high when we go in and do a screening, it can be for a million different reasons, okay? What's their caffeine intake been like? What was their sleep like the night before? Are they doing a presentation to a room full of people and are incredibly nervous? Okay, there are a million different reasons for a raised blood pressure. But if you go back and you retest that same measurement, in 60% of cases, it will have rectified. All of these claims, however, are happening after the first incidence, okay, after that first anomaly. 60% of which are unnecessary in a lot of cases. So it's very important that in order to see cost savings, you do it right, like I say. There's just a stat here to support the previous slide. Johnson & Johnson are big when it comes to corporate wellness. They've been big players in this space for a number of years. And they estimated that their wellness program saved them $250 million on healthcare costs over the last decade. So the ROI on that was $2.71 for every dollar spent on employee well-being, which is a pretty good ROI when you look at that. Some other benefits, lower rates of absenteeism. So preventing issues to poor employee well-being, such as burnout, stress, or sickness, are more profitable than reacting to these situations, okay? So once they've happened, the sick days build up, it's going to affect your bottom line. Studies have shown that employees who can control their stress, their weight, okay, and their glucose levels and cholesterol have lower rates of absenteeism, so less sick days. Reduction in presenteeism. When we ventured into the wellness space, I was really surprised that actually presenteeism is a bigger problem for the bottom line than absenteeism is. Poor employee productivity can be defined as physically being at work, so physically there, okay, but not working at their best due to illness, stress, okay, or near burnout. So it says there that the estimated cost associated with presenteeism due to poor employee health is 2 to 3 times greater than the direct healthcare expenses of absenteeism, as an example, which I find really interesting. Trying to keep your employees physically and mentally healthy in order to keep their productivity high is going to be key. On productivity, okay, one of the benefits is that we usually improve this through wellness strategies. Again, I'm going to sort of bombard you with stats before we get into the emotional sort of wellness fluffy stuff. But research shows that smokers are twice as likely to take time off work, and workers with obesity take 3 to 6 days more than those of normal weight annually, okay? Overall, when employee well-being is optimized, they're more focused on their work and their productivity increases. We've got improved employee morale, okay? This is really important given the current state of the world and the COVID-19 crisis, okay? We've seen morale in businesses dip. Number of reasons for this, okay? The financial impact of COVID on businesses and the worries associated with that, many different things. We realize that it's really important to try and keep this afloat, okay? When morale dips, productivity dips, and that results in presenteeism and absenteeism. By introducing a successful employee wellbeing initiative, such as things like mental health workshops or fitness competitions, which we'll come on to in a little while, you can significantly improve morale, okay, and lower the risks of the other points that we've just sort of gone through there. Onboarding and retention, okay, this is a huge one. When you show that you're invested in your employees through well-being, through a successful wellness strategy, this naturally leads to higher rates of staff retention. It's quite a competitive market out there at the moment, and you have to be quite different in terms of what you offer to your staff to onboard them and attract them initially, but also to retain them, okay? 78% of employers offer wellness programs to attract and retain talent, okay? So really good when it comes to sort of that HR function of keeping your employees happy and winning them in the first place. So what are the ROI timeframes on a successful wellness program within a business, okay? We have a timeline there of 3 months, 1 year, and 2 years. So after 3 months, you can see positive changes in your workplace, such as employees' engagement in healthy activities, all right? You might see them ordering a salad, okay, instead of at McDonald's for their lunch, all right? You might see them going for a walk at lunchtime. But those healthy choices and habits should become evident at that stage. Within 1 year, you see evidence of increased job satisfaction, commitment to work, and improved productivity among workers, okay? It says here that it can take up to 2 years to see any significant quantitative improvements in health-related costs. I have to say, this is going to be dependent on the strength and focus of the wellness strategy that you implement within your business. We've been able to see through our work with Beneple significant quantitative improvements in health-related cost and claims after 1 year with our clients, all right? So it depends how focused and how relevant your strategy is. So how do we design a successful program, okay? I've created a little checklist for us to go through here. This is the way we do things. And like I say, this is different to a lot of our competitors and the rest of the market. The first thing is to conduct assessments, okay, and gather data. We conduct assessments in the form of health and wellness questionnaires and surveys to look at their current health status, the current health status of employees. We ask questions around pre-existing conditions, smoker status, aches and pains. We move on to physical activity, okay? Are there any roadblocks to your movement and activity at the moment, okay? We look at diet and nutrition. How would you rate your diet and nutrition at this time? Again, are there any roadblocks to you eating healthy at the moment? Time restraints, you know, is your workload particularly high at present? We look at their mental health, their sleep patterns, and we end by asking them about their health and wellness goals. We get their commitment to change in terms of their habits by asking them if they want to change any of their habits and they want to increase their health and wellness. And we then go on to gain specific information about what those health and wellness goals are. We usually then go in and conduct a biometric screening. So the survey gives us a snapshot of perceived health. A biometric screening will give us an actual snapshot of health, and we can find that the two are quite different, all right, when we go into businesses. The screening would involve us going in and taking the baseline health measurements of employees. We collate all of that information into individual reports for each attendee, and we collate all of the information on a corporate level as well. After we've done all of that, we sit down, we analyze the information, and we can give some recommendations on how to proceed on the back of that. It's imperative that you obtain management support when it comes to implementing your wellness strategy. I always say that wellness has to start from top down, okay? It's the same with anything that you try and implement successfully in a business. get management buy-in, and have someone sort of singing the praises behind the program and encouraging people to participate. You can establish a wellness committee. I have to say this is a nice to have, not a must have, but having key players within the business that are going to champion certain event definitely helps. Develop goals and objectives, okay? It's really important these are specific and relatable, all right? We would use those initial assessments to plan some really, like I say, specific targeted challenges and events. Examples of that may be if we saw problems with cholesterol and BMI within a business, nutrition would probably be a focus for us initially. And we might run a 5-a-day challenge through our app. Got a sponsor called Fruitful Day that sends out weekly and monthly prizes, okay, and we might try and get everyone eating more fruit and veg. If we saw problems with BMI and blood pressure through the initial screening, and we had lots of people saying they wanted to get fitter as a goal, then we may run a steps challenge, okay, or a 30-30 workout challenge where we get a PT to program workouts every day, okay. Sounds quite intense, but it can be fun, I promise. Design relevant program components, we kind of touched on that. The next step is communicating that wellness plan, all right? Communicate the results of those initial assessments and communicate what you're doing on the back of that. Show your employees that you're listening to them and show them that the plans are relevant to them, okay, and that you've taken on board their feedback. The last step is to evaluate the success of the program. And this is something that we don't see very much in the market. We conduct those initial assessments so that the companies that we work with can evaluate our success as a provider. We give the company an overall health score based on those initial assessments. And the aim with any program that we implement in a business is to see an increase in those health scores by the end of the program on an individual level and on a corporate level as well. Okay, so evaluate your success and monitor it throughout. Now, we've talked through some stats, we've talked through some figures, okay, some numbers, but what does all of this mean when it comes to benefits on an employee level? I was sort of racking my brains to think of a case study that I could present to you, okay, to demonstrate this. And actually, my own health and wellness journey is quite significant, so I wanted to share that with you, all right? This is a snapshot of Rebecca in 2017. Okay, I've collated some images for you there. You can see from the images on the screen that I probably didn't make the best choices when it came to, sustaining a healthy lifestyle. You can see that I ate pretty much what I wanted, okay? And funnily enough, I never ever craved a salad. I never wanted a salad, okay? I didn't do much physical exercise. You can see a picture of a netball there. The only physical activity I participated in was netball with the work girls. I've got Sarah over there. She used to drag me along to the netball court, even though I was terrible, and make me run around for an hour. Okay, that was the only physical activity I did. And it was very sort of periodic. It wasn't consistent. And you can see a picture of some medication up there. 2017 was actually the year I got diagnosed with my second underlying medical condition. The first was actually diagnosed in 2014, so a few years prior. The first condition I got diagnosed with was a condition called polycystic kidney disease. And I have my family history to thank for that one. My dad has the same condition. His mum had the same condition as well. It runs in our family. There's a 50-50 chance that if I have children, they'll have the same condition as well. And in itself, polycystic kidneys, poly meaning many and cystic meaning cysts. Okay, that's what it is as a condition. Many cysts in your kidneys, and these multiply and develop over time. It came with a number of sort of signs and symptoms. All right, the main one being raised blood pressure. So at this point in 2017, I think my blood pressure was its highest level. I was already on medication for it. Bearing in mind, I would have been about 28 years old here on medication for blood pressure. I think my kidney function had dropped to its lowest point, which was at 60-something%. Not bad in the grand scheme of kidney function, but again, at 28 years old, not ideal. And like I say, I was having heart-related issues, so palpitations. I had a mitral valve prolapse, which is linked to this condition as well. That's the first condition I had. I said I was diagnosed with the second one in this year, okay? So along came my thyroid issues in 2017. So I was diagnosed with another condition called Hashimoto's disease, which is an autoimmune condition that affects the thyroid gland at the front of your neck here. It's quite a common condition, okay, particularly amongst women, and it can be managed quite well with medication, okay? It was a slight wake-up call for me that I was diagnosed with 2 lifelong conditions this early in my life, though. But still, not that much of a wake-up call that I did much about it at that stage. My wake-up call actually came when we transitioned into the wellness sector and the wellness proposition really took off. I was sitting quite a lot of meetings with HR professionals, and I remember sitting in a meeting with one professional in particular. I remember the day, I remember the time of the day, I remember who it was, and we'd got quite far in the process in terms of proposing for them. We'd done some analysis, and I sat there giving them all this advice in terms of how they could make their workforce healthier, okay? Telling them everything that they needed to do. And suddenly I just got this huge feeling of guilt. And I remember it hitting me. And the reason it hit me is because I felt like an absolute fraud, okay? I was giving them all of this advice, but I wasn't taking any of that advice myself, all right? And I had reason to. So after that moment, I decided that I wanted to do something about it. I applied the same principles that we teach our clients to my own life, and I tried to improve my health through my lifestyle, okay? So Q2 2021, all right? Looks a little bit different now, all right? I still have a life. You can still see the cake on the board there, still very much indulge in the cake. You can see the red wine in the picture here. I'm eating out, okay? But on a day-to-day basis, I probably make slightly healthy choices. So you can see my meals look slightly different on a day-to-day basis, okay? I realized that nutritious and healthy food can still taste good. And I decided that I wanted to get fitter, okay? My blood pressure was high. I wanted to come off the medication, and I knew that my fitness levels were related to that. I also knew that if I tried to do it on my own, I wouldn't commit, okay? I know me, and I analyze myself as we would our clients. And so I decided to financially commit to this endeavor. I booked in with a PT, and I also took on board what we say to our clients in that if you can create a culture amongst employees and you can get them participating in activities and events together, they are more than 3 times more likely to stick to that endeavor and be successful. So I dragged in a few colleagues, okay, and a few family members along the way to do the PT sessions with me, all right? I wanted to give myself the best chance of success. So you can see that in the picture here when we just started out. And today, fitness is very much part of my daily routine, and I actually quite enjoy it, although you wouldn't gauge that from some of the pictures up there. All of this has had a huge impact, though. You can see the medication picture there, okay, has a cross through it now. I'm no longer on the blood pressure medication, all right? It's come down significantly within normal range. I no longer have to be on the blood pressure medication, which is amazing. My Hashimoto's disease has taken a turn, all right? And I got a call just 3 weeks ago from my endocrinologist to say that my latest blood results showed that my antibodies for that condition have come down to within normal ranges, which technically means I don't have the autoimmune condition anymore. Still have to take the meds, unfortunately. Too much damage has been done. But I'm not classed as having that autoimmune condition. I'm in remission, which she couldn't believe. I recently had my kidney function checked, and it's gone up, okay, which is something that my nephrologist was quite surprised about. It's gone from 60-something% to 90-something% now, which again is amazing, okay? And I genuinely feel day to day much better, all right? The brain fog's gone, okay, my energy levels are up, and it's all due to these lifestyle changes that I made on a day-to-day basis. I don't restrict myself, I've just added more healthy things to my life, and that's what we're all about when it comes to corporate wellness as well. So why have I told you all of that, okay? Wellness programs do have a significant impact on an individual level. They can literally change lives. We've had people within our own business, aside from me, that have been on their own wellness journey, okay, and they've seen significant impacts, okay? We've gone through the numbers and figures, okay, we've gone through the benefits, we've seen a real life case study in myself now, and hopefully you can understand how much of an impact a wellness sort of program within a business can have on all levels. Above all else though, a wellness strategy should be fun, okay? Should be a lot of fun. A lot of people hear what I say and they go, sounds like a lot of work. How much time am I going to have to dedicate to this? If you've got the right provider helping you, you shouldn't have to dedicate much time at all, okay? They should take care of it for you. It shouldn't be a chore, and like I say, your employees should enjoy it. Just to demonstrate how fun they can be, okay? I've got a snippet of a recent challenge that we ran internally, a Blue Sky Thinking Group. Beneple were subject to this challenge as well. I think we might have some snippets of you, Sunny and Shane, throughout, okay? But this was a fitness and nutrition challenge we ran on the back of one of our internal screenings that showed that cholesterol levels and blood pressure levels were creeping a little bit in our own business. So I'm told if I click this link at the top here, the video should play. Let's have a look. Amazing results there at the end, as you can see, okay? We did have a lot of fun with that challenge. I'm sure the guys can testify to that, all right? But that does conclude my presentation today, all right? The team at Safe Hands and Beneple are super passionate about what we do, okay? If this resonated with anyone and you have any questions about what it is that we do or just in general, please reach out to myself or a member of the team. We've got the two girls, Sarah and Laura, at the back there. Sunny and Shane are here from the Beneple team as well. We're happy to answer your questions and have a conversation with you. We offer free sort of analysis and consults as part of what we do. Again, if we can help you in any way, please reach out and let us know. For now, though, I just want to say a huge thank you for bearing with me until the end. I know I'm the end presenter, like I say, taking the time to listen. I'm going to hand over for the closing statements, and then we can all head for that drink, okay? Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
Fantastic. Thanks very much, Rebecca. Any questions for Rebecca before we wrap up? Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Okay, so very good. Some very good presentations today, and thanks again to Gary for organising such a very informative and interesting session for our second chapter meeting. Okay. Just a reminder before we head off and have a drink. If you do have any symptoms or a positive test result on that after you leave here, within 2 weeks of leaving here, please get in touch with Gary or one of the committee members and just let us know so that we can communicate that to everybody. The next meeting is that 2nd of September, the Q3 meeting, which will be sponsored by Red Wings. So put that one in the diary. Don't forget to leave your name badge on the table before you leave. As we said, we'll sanitize them and reuse them for the next meeting. And just make sure that your name's been ticked off on the attendees list as well. And if you need to get your car park voucher stamped, don't forget to get that done before you go. Also, thanks to all the people signing in from online. We certainly appreciate your support as well, even though you can't be here in person. So with that done, Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Hi there, I'm Stephen Balfour. Just a moment of your time. I'm working with IS International. We're going to be doing a survey for IOGP. We've just been commissioned to do a survey regards to virtual learning in the Wales environment. Obviously ties in with what was talked about earlier with crew. We're looking to get obviously feedback from drilling contractors, operators, obviously the people that are doing the courses, the candidates, as well as the training facilities. So we'd certainly appreciate your help in any way to get that information off, looking at the effectiveness, the retention of the knowledge, the engagement levels, the costs, and the appetite to actually continue this on after COVID. So hopefully within the next month or so, we'll be looking to issue that survey via our LinkedIn page. IS International, you can follow there. But if it's possible, maybe we'll use the mailing list. And if you can disseminate maybe that within your organisations, that would be able to give us that information through that survey, in terms of the costs, the pass rates, for example, how that's affected it. So it should be quite an interesting topic. And as I say, just appreciate any help you can provide there to support us to get a good survey, which hopefully the results will be out later in the year. Quite a topical subject as well, given the COVID and the way we're forced into this situation at the moment. Okay, thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks very much, Stephen. Very good. Okay, so once again, thanks very much to Beneple for sponsoring the second chapter meeting for the year. Very much appreciated. Drinks network will be just outside now, so look forward to chatting with you all soon. Thank you very much.